Long before the start of the Clone War, the Empire's future Grand Moff had personal experiences with both the political and combat realities of the Jedi Order. These experiences were the source of both respect and disappointment in the Jedi for Tarkin. But whatever views Tarkin held of the Jedi early in his life and career, these would be undone by his experiences with the Jedi during the Clone War itself. In this video expose, I will explain why Tarkin slowly began to hate the Jedi during the Clone War, viewing them as inept failures that would justify their removal from the galaxy in the aftermath of Order 66. Tarkin's earliest experiences with the Jedi were indirect, but would nevertheless come to play an important role in how he would ultimately define the Order. As a young man just starting out in his military career with the Outland Region Security Force, Tarkin primarily saw combat against pirates who ravaged his homeworld within the Seswena sector in the Outer Rim. But despite continued calls for Jedi intervention to help this sector against the plague of pirates, the Jedi continually ignored these requests. Tarkin could only conclude that the Outer Rim sector didn't rate highly enough on the Jedi's list of priorities to offer aid. However, Tarkin would have further experiences with the Jedi prior to the Clone War, this time in the realm of actual combat rather than mere political decision-making. Having by that time joined the Republic's Judicial Department, Tarkin was one of 80 judicials chosen to join a Jedi strike team on a mission to end a hostage situation on the planet of Halcyon. This mission allowed Tarkin to directly observe the Jedi in action, assessing their tactics and strategy and the fighting style they relied upon to uphold the authority of the Republic. More than that, he was also able to further his understanding in the metaphysical beliefs of the Jedi, allowing Tarkin to increase his meager theoretical grasp of the Force. Although the Jedi never intervened to assist his homeworld against the threat of pirates, Tarkin could nevertheless conclude that the Jedi should be respected as peacekeepers. However, this respect would be completely undone by the fighting of the Clone War and the realities Tarkin would accept about the Jedi regarding their flaws and weaknesses within the modern age. For Tarkin, the biggest failure of the Jedi was in not using their incredible powers granted to them by the Force in every way possible. In having observed their abilities personally, Tarkin knew that the Jedi were holding back, and if they wanted to, the Order could use the full abilities of the Force to bring the war to a quick end. Despite the Republic having fought the galactic conflict for 3 long years, the Jedi remained faithful to their ethical code. Thus, Tarkin blamed the Jedi for allowing the war to drag on and spiral into an uncontrollable and meaningless bloodbath. For Tarkin, the brutality of the war was placed squarely at the feet of the Jedi, for in refusing to use their full powers, they accepted the bloodshed that occurred with each passing day of the conflict. Interestingly, this is the same critique that Dooku had of the Jedi Order as seen within the Legends novel Darth Plagueis. For Dooku, the Jedi refusal to use the Force in its full extent meant that the Jedi accepted the darkness that was sweeping across the galaxy, and this was one of the primary reasons for Dooku's exit from the Order. As Tarkin came to see the Jedi as proven failures within the Republic military, this led him to make a fairly bold conclusion. Their noble restraint meant that they doomed themselves to extinction. Because the Jedi weren't willing to do what must be done, they were no longer needed, their efforts superfluous in a new age where technological might was the new standard. The weakness of the Order meant that whatever respect Tarkin had for the Jedi had to be put aside, and Tarkin began to look at new options that would uphold peace and order throughout the galaxy, options that weren't lost in foolish ethical codes. Although he wasn't completely blinded by hatred enough to believe every anti-Jedi claim made by the Empire, he knew the future needed to rely on technology rather than the Jedi. So there we have it, how Tarkin's view of the Jedi was shaped by the Clone Wars, and why he ultimately came to view Order 66 as acceptable. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel, or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive rewards and discussions. If not for me, for superfluousness.